I probably should have.
I'd like to call the Ellis County Commission meeting to order. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Can you hear me? Okay. All right, if you can call roll, please. Bobby?
Commissioner Nathan Liker.
Here.
Chair Neil Younger.
Here.
Commissioner Michael Burgess.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Order of business does stay the same. We have one executive session. Gentlemen, do you have a chance to look at the minutes?
Prior minutes look good.
I'm fine.
Okay. How about the consent agenda?
Yep.
I'll move to approve consent agenda items A through G.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Anyone like to speak that's not in the agenda? Okay. And then the monthly financial report.
Everything seemed to be in order on there.
Everything good? Okay.
Questions?
Then monthly departmental report. Everything all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good. Busy.
Yeah, it's busy. A lot of busy. Okay, the 4-H club for the decorations at the 13th and Main.
Hello, I'm Jaden. We're here on the behalf of the Gemini Juniors 4-H Club to request permission to decorate the trees on the north of the library for the holiday season. We have been carrying out this process of decorating for the past several years and believe our work is impactful not only for our community but also for our club as well. I'd also like to introduce Josiah.
This is an opportunity for all youths in our community to help make the holidays merrier. We also want to use this opportunity to request other youths in our community to help contribute to our decoration collection. Simply drop off any decorations that you make at the 4-H Extension office on Main Street. We would like to remind those interested that these decorations must be able to hold up the strong Kansas winds. Next, I'd like to introduce Evan.
We also want to acknowledge the Boy Scout Troop 101. Scouts and adult leaders will hang the ornaments. They will be doing this on Sunday, December 3rd, so the deadline for the ornaments to be dropped off at the Extension office is December 1st. Next, This is a project we enjoy leading and participating in each year, and we appreciate the opportunity to do so again. We thank the Ellis County Commission for their past support for this project and request permission again to decorate the trees by the public library. We are happy to answer any questions you may have.
How many years have you been helping participate in this?
I'm not for sure the exact number, but as long as I've been in 4-H.
Okay. Congratulations. You all did a very good job presenting.
Okay, and if you would, so everybody knows, state your name, please. The first young man done a great job. If you state your name just for the community, so.
I'm Jaden. Jaden Connor.
Okay,
I'm Evan Betts.
okay,
Josiah Connor.
okay, thank you. And again, thank you for doing what you guys do, so.
Yeah, thank you for presenting to us and doing some community activity. I think it does brighten our community. I'm full support of it, and appreciate your organization and club taking this on as your activity.
I know probably at the age you guys are, if I'd have had to do that, I'd have chickened out. So congratulations, all of you, for coming to us and doing that, okay? Presenting it. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Are you giving them permission?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we, yes, we are. I was
There's
impressed
no
with.
actual motion
Yeah.
necessary, so
You know,
I have no problem with.
I do not either.
So,
So you don't have to come back up. Your permission is granted. Okay, the City of Victoria, James?
It's a tough act to follow there. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is James Robin with Grow Hayes. I'm here on behalf of the diligent work that I've been doing helping the City of Victoria adopt a NRP, the Neighborhood Revitalization Plan. Today with me is John Schulte, Mayor. Is that right, John? Yeah. Victoria. In summary, the NRP is an economic incentive that helps develop personal property, industrial property, or commercial property. So it's a rebate on property taxes if you improve your property. So how it works is if adopted through the county, the city, and the school district, then all three would then agree to refund any additional property taxes assessed after a project has been completed. So you apply for the project that you want to do on your house. Let's say it's a house and you want to increase your evaluation of your house. You want to add a shop out back, add a building out back or something. You can apply for the project, say what you're going to do, and then when it's done, then on your house you would get 70% of the additional property taxes given back to you in a refund. So the example I like to use is you have a $10,000 house and you pay $1,000 worth of taxes on it, let's say in this example. You increase your property valuation to $20,000 and you pay $2,000 in taxes. On a residential property, you would get $700 back on the additional $1,000 that you had to pay for 10 years. Now, your property may increase, the valuation may increase normally as it would throughout the county, throughout normal years, but your increment stays the same with that $700 for the 10 years. On commercial property, it's 90%.
What'd you, 70% or 75%?
It's 70%.
Okay, on residential.
On residential, yep. 70% of residential, commercial is 90%. And then on historical properties, on the Kansas Historical Registry, it's 100%. There is a 5% administration that the county takes to do the work. Yeah, Nathan.
just for clarification, you said the amount of money that you get back, for in your example, is say $700.
Mm-hmm.
You get that $700 every year during the life of this program for that property, but your taxes may go up as well too.
Yes. Yet,
So the dollar amount you receive back is going to stay steady after established.
that is correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That not that your taxes won't fluctuate either up or down depending on the years following suit.
Correct, yes. Your increment is set into place, if you will, the $700 in this case, and your taxes may go up or down, your property valuation may go up or down depending on mill levies or whatever have you, but your increment stays in place for the 10 years. It is transferred from one owner to the next, so if you end up selling the property, it would go on to the next owner of the property. It doesn't stay with the original applicant. So in short, I've kind of ran through this very quickly, but it's a way to help beautification in small rural communities. So we have in the city of Hayes, it's done very well in the last few years. I think I read that there's 72 properties in the last 7 years that have utilized this. So adding it in our rural community like Victoria I believe will help entice and enhance those rural communities. You take a building that may just need to be remodeled, or someone wants to add a building, outbuilding or garage or something like that to their house. It may not take much to get it up to snuff, but the reward of doing the project can be very rewarding on the property owner. So I think it's a way to spruce up the communities and for our taxing entities to say that we believe in our citizens and we'll refund your amount that you're eligible to get because you've made your property worth more, and we commend you for doing that. So that's kind of my viewpoint of it anyways.
Now, this isn't blanket to anybody who just starts a home project. This is by application, correct?
Yeah. First, you have to have fill out the application. It has to be approved through the city. There's a certificate of completion that the city will give to the county that says that it's within the parameters of the plan. The city approves it. And then it would go, then they have to do the project, complete the project, has to get assessed again. And then if the county appraisal evaluation is over $10,000 in the city of Victoria, then it's approved. And then after they pay their taxes, then they would get their percentage of increment back at that time. So it is a do the work and then get their reward on the backside of it, which I think is very important to note that you're not just giving up anything. You have to do the work and then get the refund. It's also important to note that the taxes that are established today do not go away. So if you're already gaining increment off of a house or a per residential lot or commercial lot, the amount that you pay in taxes doesn't go away. It's only the additional increase of property taxes that gets abated or refunded. Excuse me.
Which arguably you wouldn't get the additional increase if there's no incentive to do improvements.
Exactly. There's two arguments. You could say, well, if they're going to do it anyways, why would you give it up? Or maybe this is the last carrot at the end of the stick that says, man, because of this, I want to go do it. And I like to think that even if they're going to do the project, maybe they'll do a little bit more to make it a little bit better because they know this is going to come on the backside of it. Anything that we can do to make our community better and show the faith of our taxing entities and those citizens, I think is worth looking at and adopting.
And it's on the increase in value. So if I put $10,000 into my home, it's not a rebate on that amount necessarily. It's on if the property valuation increases by at least $10,000. So I could put $10,000 in and it doesn't really increase my valuation by that much. So
correct. It's not the amount of money that you spent. It's the county appraisal's evaluation of the land, if you will, the lot. So there's probably cases where you could put paint on something and spruce it up and make it look a lot better, and it might only cost you $6,000 and it might appraise for $10,000 more. There might be cases like that. Or it could be an empty lot with nothing on there and you put a building on and it could increase the valuation quite a bit. So yeah, it's not the dollars that you spend, it's the amount that's increased on the tax rolls.
Now, this will go through the appraiser's office for approval of this whole system, more or less.
Yeah, it's kind of touches a lot of different different entities, if you will, or different departments. The appraisals, the Treasury Department, and then the city and the county both. But it gets approved by the city, and so once it's approved here, it's kind of rubber stamped and they're good to go. So once it's approved through the city again, they'll have the application and they're good to go with it. Then they'll turn it in to the county, to the appraisals, and they're assess everything and then reassess it afterwards to see if it's gained enough increment at that time, and then goes to the Treasury and everything else.
So the 70%, the $700 per 10,000. Each. So it wouldn't necessarily be like the county's giving up that 700 because there's two different taxing entities. So that $700 would be kind of the appraisal through probably the treasurer would have to divvy out. The school district's giving up this much, the county's giving up this much, and the city's giving up this much.
Yeah, the applicant pays their full amount of taxes due, and then they get their 70% of the taxes that they paid back. The remainder of the percentages would then get divvied out to all the taxing entities. So the 30% would still get divvied out according to the mill levies and how they get divvied
How
out
does
at
that
point in
rebate
time.
come back? Does it come straight back as a check, or does it come back as when they file taxes, or, and then?
Once they pay, then, and they're up to date on their taxes and everything good to go, then they would receive a check in the mail.
Okay.
It's a cash refund is how I understand it.
Now, going by Michael's example of they may spend the money but not gain the value, is there going to be some coaching for people who apply to this to make sure that they try and earn that dollar amount to qualify?
Yeah, that's going to be a lot on John's staff. And there's going to have a newsletter go out in the city of Victoria. And anybody that's going to apply, it'll be, some education will come with it, whether people listen to it or not. But it's important to note that it's not dollar spent, it's increased evaluation of property. So, but yeah, there will be some notification and then education on the front staff part, which Jamie up there at Victoria is really good about that stuff. She's pretty up to date on everything, so I have full faith in the city of Victoria to educate their applicants.
Okay.
Speak past you. Eugene, would you want to speak to any concern, or Lisa? I know you had a few comments. Is there anything you'd like to ask? Sorry, Chairman. Is that okay if I ask?
Pat, you're perfectly fine. You're on the chair.
Morning, Lisa Ree, County Appraiser for just a few more days. I have been in email contact with Mr. Robin about some of the comments I had about the plan. It's not our plan, just like the City Hayes, it's not our county's NRP plan, it's the city's. We just have the privilege of administering it on our side. We get the information from the city. We know that they give us a certificate of compatibility that tells us they have proved that it's been through their processes. We get that. We get a fee for collected for that also. We process that through the system. We do our field checks on those properties until the properties are done. We make sure that the applicant fills out all the necessary paperwork, that they are eligible for their rebate. And then when we certify our values in June to the county clerk, we also certify those NRP values, what I call as the value added. So just like Mr. Robbins stated, they may have a $50,000 house, they may have put $75,000 into that house, they cut it or whatever. They may have put $75,000 in it, but maybe we only added $60,000 to that property's value. So that $60,000 would be what we call the value added, and that is what their rebate is based on. When that's all said and done, when their taxes for that first year that plan is in effect, that rebate, then once the taxes are all paid, then the treasurer's office issues a rebate check. Also been in contact with City Hayes about their plan, so just kind of throwing out our opinion on it.
So you've been kind of working with these plans here the past several years.
Many years, yes.
Okay. Are there any negatives that you've seen come from it?
No, not really.
It's worked
Yes.
worked well.
The only negative is people will apply for it and they still don't understand it, and I've been happy to explain the process to everyone. We get a lot of questions every year about the process.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been the only negative. People will go for it because they know they're going to get some rebate, but they still don't understand the process.
Okay.
And the only thing with Victoria's is theirs is they get the rebate if they have $10,000 value added to the project on their appraised value. Just that I asked the city of Victoria to make sure people understand they may spend $10,000, but that $10,000, that may not affect their value. $10,000. It may have only affected $4,000. What they spend may not be what their value will be increased.
Gotcha.
Personally, I think they're great plans.
Thank you.
Got anything to add?
Eugene, you got
Just,
anything?
you do have to remember that the applicant does have 3 parts of the form to fill out. We do sometimes have applicants fill out part 1, turn it in, and fill out part 2, and then don't do the final part. And as part of that training process for the city of Victoria, we'll have to remind people there is a certain amount of responsibility on their side as well to complete that process.
Thank you.
John, you have any thing to say, or
James has covered everything.
any applicants and hot on the,
We've already had some people ask about it,
good,
so.
good, good. And James, I'd like to thank you too for clarifying that, because last night after the meeting, there was some talk outside of the, and you probably figured that, so if they're not listening, I'll tell them to listen to the meeting, and then they'll.
So the applicants would go to each of the city. I know Ellis is also considering theirs and working on theirs. So if you live within the incorporated part of Ellis, you'd go there. If you in the zone of Hayes Incorporated, you would leave, or Incorporated, you'd go there. If you're in Victoria, you would go to Victoria.
Correct.
You don't come to the appraiser's office or the county office. You go to your respective city to.
I believe that's right. Isn't that right? Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I'll be back before you guys in this next December meeting to ask for official approval for the interlocal agreement.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess, I mean, unless you guys want to approve it right now, but I'll be back in December to talk to you guys again.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, James, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the law enforcement generator, Darren?
Morning, Commissioners. Darren Myers, County Administrator. As the Commission knows, we've received the ARPA funds several years ago, and we put together a list of projects throughout the county of needs that were addressed by county staff, the executive team, on different projects. And one of those projects that were identified was upgrading the generator at the Law Enforcement Center. Currently, it's a 125 kW generator, which is undersized for the building, and it's only hooked up essentially for the network, the server room, and then the dispatch center downstairs. It does not give any emergency backup power to the sheriff's office on the main floor, the Hayes Police Department, nor the jail on the second floor, all their equipment, and anything in the kitchen, to include also the elevators in the building and the HVAC. So with that, we went out for bids and had one bid that was received. We had one other interested party that did not end up submitting a bid, but the bid was for just over $233,000 from RDH Electric here in Hayes. And with that, with the approval, the equipment would be ordered. It's probably still just like the generator that we purchased for this building, a year out. But once the new generator does come in, it'll be quite a bit of work that'll have to be done with actually a additional generator to provide power to the building because the inmates in there in the dispatch center. While the transfer switches are upgraded and the power is switched over to the new generator. So that way the building doesn't get loss of power. Obviously there's emergency operation or emergency communication center in there that we can't just not have power to, as well as to the jail. And then once the switch is made, the old generator would be placed up at the new public works facility just to the north of Hayes. And with that, I'll sit for any questions.
Anything?
So the new generator will be suffice to cover the law enforcement center, the dispatch center, the courthouse, and all of that?
Yes, so when you look at the building, the law enforcement center and the courthouse are essentially two separate facilities.
Okay.
There's two separate power supplies coming into each a power supply coming in to each building separately. So the courthouse is on its own power feed, law enforcement. This will only operate the law enforcement center. When we originally looked at this a while ago, the best plan for the dollar was to actually purchase 2 generators, one for the law enforcement center and one was for the courthouse. However, if we were to put them all onto one, we'd have to buy a larger generator than this one, but then we'd also have to tear up a lot of the parking lot sidewalks and landscaping to connect the 2 facilities together onto one power feed, which, yeah, you have less money in spending one on generator, but you're actually going to spend more on labor and materials and supplies and downtime of switching all the main feeds between the 2 buildings and tying them together. So this is just to supply the law enforcement center fully on power if everything were to get shut off at the law enforcement center.
Okay.
And it's also planned, it was designed to have 25% growth. We know the Hayes PD is moving out in the future in maybe 2 or 3 years, but whatever may be expanded within the sheriff's office, or if we continue to add more jail cells onto the main floor in the future, this would accommodate that growth as well.
Okay. That would be my next question. Thank you.
And I don't recall with the new public works plan, we had planned for this to happen as kind of a cost savings anyway, right?
Correct. The new facility has a transformer pad designed to be built, and then the transfer switch is right there where the main utility lines come into the building.
Okay.
I guess my only thing, and I didn't find it in the literature, the transfer switches that are in there now, the automatic ones, if they are coupled or married together to the 125, and we're adding a 200, so we're adding 75 more, are we changing them transfer switches out, especially for additional load down the...
All the transfer switches should stay the same.
Okay.
Bob Pearl went down there and inspected the facilities, actually put all the original equipment in many years ago.
Okay.
And the only one that may be in question, which should be included in the price, was the transfer switch right at the basement, right in the bottom of the basement, the entrance to the basement.
Okay.
And, but the other ones should still be sufficient, he feels, because they're not really changing anything, because they're essentially just dedicated to certain equipment in the facility, not an entire, like a floor section of the building.
So then we move the 125 kW to our new public works. So then we'll end up probably buying another transfer switch for up there,
Should
correct?
be included in the price up there.
Okay.
That was part of the design.
Okay. That's all I have.
Who is responsible for maintenance on these generators?
Greg Erbert, our Buildings and Grounds, takes care of all of our emergency generators in the county, and he has a contract. I couldn't tell you the name of the contractor, but they come out of Great Bend and they service them twice a year. They're all on schedules to run at certain time frames throughout each week. They automatically turn on, carry a load. And Greg does have a company that services them a couple times a year.
Okay, thank you.
And that's throughout our whole system, correct?
Correct. It's not just our facilities, but the smaller facilities, even like the new north tower that we put in the northeast corner. He goes out and works on those generators as well.
Okay.
Well, I'll move to approve PO number 7768 for the installation of a generator at the Law Enforcement Center.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Thanks, Darren. Okay, then county mill levy update, Darren?
This is that news that we were kind of wanting to share for quite a while. We had the expectation that the county's mill levy would essentially drop over time based on some state assessed utilities that were not a part of the initial evaluation that was sent to the county clerk's office. Since that time frame in the summer, Bobby, our county clerk, has got the final evaluations and put everything in together for the formulas to calculate our final mill levy for the 2024 budget year. And the county's general fund, which is set for this year's budget year, 2023, which is 2022 taxes, was set at 37.575. That will drop to 36.642, which is a reduction right at .933 mils. And as well as for the fire district, that is also being reduced by about 0.6 of a mil. So depending on where you live at in the county, if you live in the unincorporated areas of the county, you'll be seeing about a 1.5 mil reduction. But if you live in any of the cities, Ellis, Hayes, Victoria, or Shinshin, or just the county's mill levy is assessed, you'll see about 0.933 mil reduction. So that primarily based on the transmission line that wasn't as part of it. And I think there was one other company that had additional assessed valuations that was reported to the clerk's office, which equates for that reduction. So good news that I know that was one of the commission's goals was to try to incorporate as much as you can within our budget for 2024, but also see that we didn't capture all the assessed valuation, which would essentially reduce the mill. And I guess short terms, yeah, you met your goal. Any questions with that?
How do we keep it up?
Well, that's probably not the more popular answer.
Right.
I can explain that if you'd like me to.
No.
Are there is there anything else like next year that'll be coming off on the similar kind of tax rebates we project will come off again?
So the actual state assessed utility was a 10-year that came off. That wasn't originally reported in the summer. That was reported to Bobby later in the year. Was the transmission line that you see coming up through 180th, up through the Goodman Energy Center, and then up to the northeast part of the county. That was in a two-phased project with a 10-year tax abatement on both phases. The first phase, which was from the Spearville, Kansas area up to the Goodman Energy Center, was phase 1, and that 10-year abatement came off this year. The phase 2 of that project moved from the Goodman Energy Center all the way up to I think in Osborne County, to the Nebraska County line. That will come off next year. So total-wise, this year it was about about 500,000 in valuation that will get assessed, and that's why we see about that mill reduction. Next year, there should be about another 370,000 assessed that will come off our valuation. So based on our valuation now, or our mill levy calculation now, that would be about 0.6 of a mil. Mm-hmm. And that would assume that the budget would stay the same and valuations would stay exactly the same. If we got that additional 370,000, that'd be about 0.6 of a mil that the budget could be reduced by, or the mill levy could be reduced by.
Okay, I know, Mr.
That's good news.
Commissioner Liker, how do we keep it up? Well, we, just so everybody knows, we spend a lot of time, and the clerk's looking at me too. We had a lot of hours, and we're trying what we can, and it's paying off here, so.
Well, I think we accomplished our goal
We did.
of reducing the mill, and I hope if Jonathan Zweigert's watching, that they kind of blast this, that it reduced by about 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know my appraisal values come, and we're still going to get beat up a little bit. Taxes are going up, appraisal values have gone up, but I think we still accomplished what we could do on our end as far as looking at the budget, making some cuts, and reducing the mill from that standpoint. So not that people still won't give us a little bit of heck about increasing property in taxes, but this is one lever, and I think we controlled it. So.
Like I say, just so the community knows, and we're working as hard as we can for roads, bridges, the whole thing. I mean, it sounds like a repeat all the time, but we are working hard at that too. So, and we got to have conditions right to do that, as Brandon knows back there. So we're working and doing what we can. Okay, the Homeland Security Council appointment, Darren?
The next item on the agenda I have for you is to ask the commission for a reappointment of my appointment to the Homeland Security Council in Northwest Kansas. As you can see from the agenda item, that group, we receive about last couple of years, about 275,000. And this council looks at those monies and determines by the list of projects that are submitted to us, what type of funding sources can be made. Not all projects are always approved, and not all projects are necessarily approved in the scope that they were originally presented based on the project. For instance, a project this year that was approved is buying new emergency operations centers in each county, a new radio, and there's 17 counties in our region. So, and this may not be a good example, but if we didn't have enough money to fund them all, we could say, well, we'll do half this year and half next year. But as you can see, there's quite a big list of equipment that Ellis County has received over the years, and those are just the last couple of years that we've benefited from. And this, like I say, it's a good group of people. It's quite a large meeting, but when you're trying to represent 17 counties, but then multiple organizations as well, it's hard to keep that group small. And also listed on there is that our Ellis County Sheriff represents the Kansas, for law enforcement, represents the Kansas Sheriff's Association, and then Lyle Panel represents emergency managers with Kansas Emergency Management Association. And my appointment just represents a county position.
Any discussion?
No, I'm going to assume, Darren, that you're okay with the reappointment. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have included it.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk to somebody else to have their name on there. It's a good meeting. It's beneficial to the county and our region. There's a lot of good projects that we've been able to fund, and it's purposeful.
Okay.
That's good. I think it's good to have a seat at the table, especially a local rep report, so.
I agree. Thanks for everybody that's on that, for doing what they're doing, so.
Well, then I'll move to appoint Darren Myers as Ellis County Representative to the Northwest Kansas Homeland Security Council.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Okay, County Administrator report.
Two quick things. One, I just wanted to, we have one of our volunteer firefighters that's getting ready to get deployed to Iraq here in about 2 weeks. So I just wanted to recognize Michael Lang for his service. Veterans Day just passed, but we'll be losing him for about a year. He's in the infantry, so he'll be living it rough for the next 12 months. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And then lastly, I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and hope everybody enjoys plenty of good food and good time with your family.
County Commission reports.
I'll just echo the happy Thanksgiving to everybody and safe travels. I know Sheriff Scott's doing some extra law enforcement, so safe travels to everybody.
Commissioner Burgess.
Just attended Ellis City Commission Council last evening. That's really all I've done for the last week as far as my appointment. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Travel safe.
I would also like to wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Also, on the report, I did see that there was 40 different volunteers that helped with the election. I want to thank those again, and Bobby for keeping your sanity. And anyhow, and I also did attend the Victoria meeting last night, so James pretty well clarified what was going on after the meeting. So, and I appreciate people from Ellis here and joining us. Appreciate that very much. So that's all I have. So.
Okay.
And we will go into executive session.
With that, I'll move in the Board of County Commissioners recess to executive session for 20 minutes under the following exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act pursuant to non-elected personnel matter exception. The subject to be discussed during the executive session is personnel issue. Open session will resume at 9:30 in the Commission chambers. Those in attendance, in addition to the Board of County Commissioners, are Jennifer Taylor, Bill Jeter, and Darren Myers.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
really, crap, we can't do that.
Not supposed to, that's fine. Obviously, your clerk's not here, no, it's fine.
We can't actually say, we have to go back in, but
Or you can sit here and just not call the meeting to order yet. I mean, and that was only.
2 minutes.
Because if someone went out for coffee and they knew they were supposed to be back at 9:30, and then you guys opened up the meeting before 9:30, that would be a violation.
correct. So can
But
we,
you can sit here.
well, minutes. Open session will resume at 9:45.
Okay, I'll second that, so.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you guys were here yet.
Oh, sorry, to extend it. Aye. No decisions were reached. We